this is my big sister Stacey, and this is Sisters Social Call.
We are two sisters talking about everything that sisters talk about. Welcome to our lives. Well, hello, sissy.
Hi, sis. Well, here we are on episode 44.
Yes, I can't believe it. We want to welcome all of our listeners back to Sisters Social Call and say a special hello to all of our new listeners. Sis, I didn't even send you this, but we hit our 3,000 downloads tonight.
Woo, woo! Yay for that. That's amazing. That's so good, you guys. Thank you so much for all the downloads and all the shares and all the everything. We thank you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keep hitting the milestones quickly.
Yes.
Or faster and faster, I should say. Yep.
Yes. Let's just get right to it. So this week we are going to be chatting about the season 9 of Love is Blind. If you've listened to these episodes, I have talked about Love is Blind being a guilty pleasure of mine before. It is no secret. I love this show. However, Stacey, I don't even know whenever Love is Blind started, sends me a message that she's binging season 9 of Love is Blind. I almost freaking died, you guys. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, because Sean was out of town. So you got yourself into the Love is Blind, which I was very excited about because I did not think this was something you would deep dive into.
Sis, why don't you tell people about how Love is Blind is structured? Because there might be listeners that have never watched Love is Blind.
Okay, well, so Love is Blind is essentially a dating experiment where men and women come together and they date each other on opposite sides of this wall. So they go into these pods and they can't see each other. And they get to go on all these dates with all these people. And then, of course, they start to form connections. The only way that they can see somebody that they've connected with is if they propose to this person and the person says yes. Then they are able to see each other and then continue on the process, which then goes into Mexico. They go on a trip and then they live there and then they come back to their houses or a house or whatever. And then they live there and try to see how that works out. And then they meet family and all this. So the idea behind it is that, is love truly blind? Can you truly fall in love with somebody without seeing them? And I love the concept of this because I think truly you should fall in love with somebody for who they are as opposed to how they look. So I love the concept. Well, this season pissed me off. It did. I was irritated in like the first episode. I can't remember what happened. I was like, oh, are you freaking kidding me? Here we go. So I felt like this season was, I don't think the people were as locked into the whole concept of truly falling in love with somebody. I kind of felt more like it was trashy reality TV. And I like that. But I love the idea of the experiment and it being like people being true to that. And I thought there was a lot of people that really weren't really being true to that. But anyways, more importantly here is I would really like to know, and I think our listeners would like to know, what you really thought because you're new to the Love is Blind bandwagon. And I really think this is an opportunity for you to open up and share all your, I'll chime in here, but I think I'd really like to hear, because you're new, I want to hear what your 2 cents are, sis.
Okay. Well, as Chrissy said, I watched, I think it was the first 6 episodes when my husband was away on a road trip. Like, I found it on Netflix and I found my opportunity to be a complete and utter sloth and live just by eating popcorn in bed for hours. So the first night I literally stayed up till 3:30 in the morning watching the first 6 episodes, which is
I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, you're ahead of me. Like, what? Like, you're like stayed up till 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, so those I think first 6 episodes were when they were in the pods. And so you're just getting to know the players in the show Love Is Blind in those first 6. They obviously focus on the people who make a connection and get engaged. And what was my vibes? Well, it was super cringy, and
There was some cringy moments this season.
yeah, so I think what I'll focus on, like, the 6 couples and just, like, if their experiences in the pod and kind of, like, what I thought about it as it progressed, and I don't know, like, I love trashy reality TV. I really do. I was a Survivor fan, The Bachelor, Big Brother, but I really don't watch it very often anymore. The last trashy reality TV I watched was about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and so this, met the trashy reality TV needs for me for a weekend at least. So anyways, the 6 couples, I'll just kind of go through them and like what my hot take was on them. So Jordan and Sparkly Meg, they were my favorite couple. I think I just really liked Sparkly Meg. And the storyline about his son was adorable. And Chrissy has since told me that he has a book that's being published and he's been really flocking
Actually,
that
there's a
on
book.
the, yeah.
I'm also, when you talk about these people, I'm also going to chime in to give my 2 cents as well. So don't speed past them too fast, okay?
Okay, so I really like Jordan and Sparkly Meg. I did nearly dry heave when they were out of the pods and living together, and he made his like chicken smoothie for. And if
Is chicken and what was it? Chicken and
it doesn't matter, it was cooked chicken turned into a smoothie. It doesn't matter what it was mixed with. This sounds like
was it
I.
chicken and egg or something?
I don't know. I
Oh, it was
just
like chicken and orange juice or something gross. I don't
bleh, bleh, bleh.
know.
Even right now, just thinking about it, my stomach's just like doing the flip
Well,
flops.
you text me. You said something just happened that made me dry heave. I'm like, well, don't tell me because I'm not there yet. And then
Yeah,
when I was watching it, she's like, "Oh, do you know which part made me dry heave?" I said, "Yeah, the chicken smoothie."
gross. Anyways, what was your vibes on Sparkly Meg and Jordan,
Okay, well,
Chrissy?
I really liked them both a lot. Both of them. I really dig Jordan. I think he's pretty down to earth dude, you know? Pretty basic. Like I think I like that. And I like Sparkly Meg too. I think that they could have been a pretty cute couple together, but perhaps their lives would just be too different and that would be too hard to overcome. So, you know what? I really applaud them for doing the experiment and all that. And I also applaud Sparkly Megs for telling him what her real true thoughts were before she got to the altar.
Agreed, agreed.
So, yay to you, Sparkle Megs and Jordan. We dig what you brought to the show this year, except for not the smoothie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm happy since that aired that she has found a partner and has had a baby. And like that's very, exciting for her. So
Yeah,
yay.
things really moved fast there for Sparkle Megs. She really wrapped things up for herself. But you know what? She didn't go on the show because she wasn't looking for love. So I mean, she was ready for it. Like this is the next step in her
Mhm.
life that she wanted. It didn't come from the pods, but it came outside. So good for her.
Yep. Okay, the next couple I have on the list is KB and Edmund. Oh, they were so cute in the pods. I love them in
Oh,
the pods.
was a little pick in his hair.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I had faith in them. I thought that was the one couple that was actually going to make it to the altar and say I do. I hate having an opinion on people I don't know about because it's really none of my business. But it just I don't know if the show portrayed him to be a little bit more immature than what he was. I'm not sure if that's what it was. And KB, had taken issue with some of his behaviors. And so I don't know if it was the show or if that's how he is in real life, right? Like that's just sometimes of some maturity issues. But anyways, I really had faith in them. I thought they were going to be, I thought they were going to say yes at the altar.
I thought that they were really fun and fun loving, and she had this great patience for him. And he was emotional, but also I thought that was good that he could show that true side of himself and he felt comfortable with her to do that. Yeah, I honestly thought that they had a shot at it as well. Although his ugly crying in Mexico in the bedroom, did you did you remember that part?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was a joke. At first, I was like, "There's no way this he's actually cracking up so hard, like, crying." Nope,
Mm,
that was real. I mean, what we saw.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about Madison and Joe?
Well, I was hopeful, but then I quickly realized that it was going nowhere fast, and I think Madison is stunningly beautiful,
Mhm.
and, I think he maybe, mm, didn't find her as beautiful as she really truly was. Like, I don't know, I kinda got that vibe right away that he was kinda trying to force himself to really be attracted to her.
Yeah, like, he commented on her physical appearance after they got engaged, but I think it sounded worse yet again, like, and probably I don't wanna say taken out of context, but I think it sounds worse when you think of, like, how they have to edit the show, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure, and of course, the producers would edit the show to make it more dramatic and more steamy, and so that always you have to remember that
Mhm,
aspect of it, that they're making it what they want us to see, so there's probably all kinds of stuff going on there. However, it didn't work out for them. I saw the reunion and I thought, "Well, I wish the best for all of them," you know? I'm like, "I hope they all toodle along and find somebody." Like, I kinda got good vibes from Joe and
mhm.
yeah,
Both of them,
yeah, from her as well.
just not in the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, and then we have Allie and Anton.
Yeah, I actually thought these 2 were also gonna make it all the way through the altern I guess,
I felt she was just sizing him up the whole time and he was just not ever meeting it.
well, that's true, but, like, when they were in the pods and how many things they had in common and their common upbringing and their value system, I was like, "Okay, these 2 have a lot
That's
of
true.
foundational things that are critical to and healthy and normal in a very strong relationship." Like, they both seem to have those value system already at together. But yes, I agree when there was a lot of sizing up about, like, his career and if he can make enough money and
Yeah, I mean, good for her to say that she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. That's a pretty big one that if you realized off the get-go. But again, I just after they were out of the pods, I just felt like he could never do good enough. Like he was just never saying the right things, doing the right things, and I was just like, "Oh, it's kind of a train wreck watching these 2 a little bit." So,
mhm, and then drinking. That was an interesting
oh
storyline.
yeah, I forgot about that. He was pounding the boozies,
Well, that's what they showed on the show.
and she was questioning him about it.
Yeah, and I don't know how much he was drinking on the show, right? Again, like, we weren't there and didn't see it, and but it was an interesting storyline, but that was one thing that, their value systems were different on, and was
Yeah.
a little bit of a deal breaker for her, it sound like it appeared in the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, good on her to recognize that as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Annie.
Annie, the hairstylist.
Yes, so Nick and Annie.
Oh, I was very unsure from the get-go with those 2. Very unsure. No bueno. But mostly because I thought she was a freaking train wreck.
Uh, I was okay with her, I didn't trust him. Like, Nick just was so calculated the whole time. Like,
Yeah, I didn't get the good vibes from him either, but I also was just like, "Wow, woman, get it together a little bit here." And as everybody's also mentioned, fix the hair extensions. Her hair was ridiculous. I would be watching like, "My god, your hairstyle is frick. This is not good for your business." I can laugh. I'm a hairstylist.
yeah, I know, but maybe it was like the Mexico. Maybe it was like the Mexico water, like, I don't know, sissy. Was it really
When
that bad?
you know you're doing the show and there's a chance you're going to Mexico and you have hair extensions in, that is foolish. Saltwater and hair extensions are not best friends. You should plan better.
Okay.
I have a lot to say about that because I wore hair extensions to Sam and Denny's wedding, and it was one of the biggest regrets of my life.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, but also you could see her hair extensions so
Oh,
often, and oh my gosh, I just can't deal with that. I cannot handle it. Like if you're gonna have hair extensions and you're gonna be a hairstylist, you know better. So, anyways, that was a couple that kind of just fell to the wayside for me. I just didn't pay too much attention to them.
Okay, last and certainly not least, Casey and
Oh, good
Patrick.
God. Oh, the freaking baby eel. No, the
Seal?
baby sea otter? No,
I thought it was baby seal.
the sea otter eel, I had it like kind of right. So yeah, a baby seal. I'll never see that guy's face without thinking of a baby seal with like the whiskers. Like, oh. Anyway, I felt like she did this because she really wanted to be picked. Like she really wanted to be chosen on the show. So she busts out the whole like, I got a landing strap. I don't even know, like suck you or kiss you. Like I don't even know what she said because I couldn't even handle it.
The dirty talking was much too much.
Oh, totally out of left field. It just seemed to pop up. It was like, okay, well, this is what is happening here, and this is just disgusting. I mean, I can handle some dirty talk, but this just felt so forced. Oh,
These things did come out of her mouth. And
yeah.
but I understand in editing that, like Chrissy already said, it's going to be done in a way that's going to make it look more dramatic, more salacious. And they were so cringy. And it was I just am at a loss for words. I actually had to watch Off the Vine podcast yesterday that Caitlin Bristow hosts, and she had Casey McIntosh on there because I was like, I need to hear her side of the story because the show did make her look so terrible and shallow. And I wanted to
Yeah.
hear her side of the story. And it didn't help her story. Let's just say that.
I watched a few clips of it last night on TikTok. I was trying to find this. I was trying to get some more information too, but I just thought, like, she doesn't sound. No, didn't. It's no better.
She did talk about how she couldn't articulate herself on the reunion, and I would give her that for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Definitely.
And she's talked about how damaging this show has been to her life, and I can certainly understand that. And these were regular people in a lot of cases who went on a show on an experiment and now like have to live with the repercussions of how editing has portrayed them. I feel kind like bad in that way for her. And her family relationship has broken down since this show, and that's heartbreaking to me. I said to Chrissy yesterday, I think it would be best if she just stopped talking, because her credibility continues to be attacked the more that she keeps talking and is in the media. Now, she might be on a publicity stint. That could be what's going on here, but from how she spoke on Off the Vine, it didn't seem like that. It seemed like that she is, this has been really hard. So I just think for the mess that has been created by the show, and she just needs to stop talking and let the drama go away.
Well, and here's my thing. You signed up for a reality TV show. So I mean, yeah, it sucks that this has happened to her, but at the same time, it's like you signed up for that. Be better then. If you don't want to look like a dumbass or you don't want to look like something that maybe you're not, then don't say shit that you wouldn't normally say. So,
Yeah.
this is what happens if you're like the internet and media is a wild, ferocious, intense, fast-moving world out there. So if you don't want to be a part of it, probably don't sign up for something like.
Yeah. I was quite shocked, though, in the reunion show where she admitted to dating Joe. And then Kate, I believe, and Madison said she was in another relationship with another one of the guys in the pods, like outside of Love is Blind. I was like, wow. And I am not surprised that that contestants on Love is Blind would date each other because they just went through such a really weird experience. So there's not a lot of people who would be able to understand what that was like. So I'm not surprised at that, but it was interesting to hear that like 2 months after she started to date Joe, like
Yeah,
shortly after that it was, and
but
then, another,
that's quite common.
yeah, but I was like, still just like, whoo, this is not helping her case.
Oh, actually, how about before we move on from her craziness, I just have to dial into when she was telling him that it wasn't going to work. And she was sobbing and I love you and like kissing him and I love you, but I can't. And that whole part, you remember that part?
Yeah, I do, and she did talk about that on the Off the Vine a little bit too, about how she did love him but wasn't ready to go on to Mexico with him.
Yeah, and felt like she truly didn't feel like could get there with him. Well, fair. Good on you for acknowledging that, but the way that all went down there was
Oof.
rough to watch.
Yeah, that was definitely a train wreck. You could not take your eyes off of it.
I feel bad that that was your first experience with Love is Blind because there's been some really great Love is Blinds with some marriages. Some people have children now. This one was a bit rough, I would say.
I'll watch season 10. We can have this conversation again.
Great. I'm so glad that you were watching the show because I love it so much.
Gives us another thing to chat about. Add it to the list of endless things to talk about.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, anyways, I'm so happy that you got into the Love is Blind with me. I was disappointed in this season because nobody got married. I was sad about that. There was a lot of spice throughout the whole season, so can't really deny that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any
Yeah.
final thoughts on Love is Blind, sis?
I do have one final thought. I don't understand why people would go all the way to the altar. If they're going to say no, I don't understand why they would get dressed up in their wedding dresses and their suits and bring a selection of friends and family to a taping of a show to say no at the altar. Like, this is what I'm very confused about in this series. It was evident that these probably folks were not going to make it to say yes. I think there was enough
Yeah,
red flags out there. And I just don't know why folks would go all the way through to a wedding and to say
totally.
no. I'm just always confused about that. And I get that it's for the show, for the TV. But I give
Yeah,
Meg and Jordan props that she didn't go to, like, that she
yeah.
ended the relationship before the altar.
And that has
Same with
happened in the
Annie and
past for
Nick.
sure. There's definitely
Yeah.
been that where people have put a kibosh on that before that time comes, and or even when they're living together and they're going through that and just like, no, this isn't gonna work. So I don't know, maybe some people are just like they're just, they feel that connection, but they're just not totally sure. But they think maybe once I get to the altar and I see them, I'll get that like reaffirming, yes, this is the right thing, or no, this is, I could kind of see that where it's like in that moment. Yeah, because it is such a fast process that you kind of are living on a prayer with that one a little bit at the end there. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyways, that was my final thought. And yes, I will watch Love is Blind with you in the future again.
ooh, I'm so glad. That is awesome. Yeah, let's move on to our picks, pizza, and plans. I'm tired tonight.
Can we talk about what else we're watching on TV quickly?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. What are you watching, sis?
Okay, for reality TV, I started to watch Traders Canada.
Okay, no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's on Crave. I have never watched. There's only been 2 other seasons before this one. Um and it's a little like Survivor-ish in a spooky mansion.
Oh yeah.
And they have right now at this like second episode, they have 3 people are traders and the rest are what they call faithfuls. And they have challenges and some of those folks will be protected. Some of the faithfuls will be protected. Actually, in some cases, a trader might be protected because people don't know that they're traders. And then somebody gets murdered. A character falls off the show in each episode. And the faithfuls are trying not to get killed. The traders are trying not to be identified. There's been 2 episodes so far, and I will be curious to see where this takes us. I've never watched it before. So I was intrigued because one of my favorite influencer, Sarah Nicole, the Bird's Papaya is on this season. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why I'm watching it. But there's previous Canadian Big Brothers winners on there. They have some, and survivors. So they have some like reality TV stars on this show. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
I watched Nobody Wants This, which is such a sweet little romantic comedy. I love it so much. And I just saw today that it's been renewed for season 3. So I really hope that there's a marriage in the next season.
I watched it too. So cute. I watched it last weekend, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's so easy to binge it because it's only like 30-minute episodes.
Yeah, they're not long at all. So super. I was like baking bread and watching that show.
In amongst Blue Jay games.
in and amongst the freaking Blue Jay games. So crazy.
For stand-up comedy, I watched Leanne Morgan last night. Her new Netflix special came out yesterday, and she really took off after her last Netflix special, and she's most known for like her bit about menopause. Anyways, but she still continues with her family theme, and she's just so lovely, and I find her like her stand-up to be quite wholesome, which I think in this world we need a lot of wholesome humor. And
Yes.
so I really enjoyed that comedy special last night. But anyhow, what are you watching, sissy?
I watched the Monsters Ed Gein show. I love weird shows about serial killers and stuff like that. I'm just so fascinated by the human brain. I think that is the most interesting thing to me. And so watching shows on these people that are totally dialed into life way differently than most people are is so fascinating to me. But anyways, it was super weird. I had to keep pausing in the first 3 episodes because I couldn't hardly handle it. Like, it was so weird.
Have you watched any of the other monster like?
Yeah, all of them. Hello, I
Gosh,
like the serial killer shows. Hello. We're like, that's me. I've watched them all. Monsters, the Hernandez brothers. Love that one. I hate to say that I love them because they're so weird, but I really enjoy these shows. Like, I enjoy that. I always like watching true crime. And then of course I was watching the Jays World Series and having a heart attack the whole time. So I don't
mhm.
know. But I've been like busy doing all this stuff around the house. So I've had these shows on in the background and doing that. But I go through stints where I like comedy and then I don't. Right now I'm off the comedy, so I'm not watching that. I'm like really deep into the murders right now. So that's where I'm at. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for TV stuff.
Shall we move on to our peaks, pits, and plans, sissy?
Yes, we shall.
Okay, how about you start this week?
Okay, so I have a pit that's a little bit of a pit and a peak. It's nothing too major. However, I went to the farm on the weekend and it was a peak to go there, but I'm just going to be real with you guys. It was really freaking hard. I really miss Mark a lot. And so it was very hard on my soul because it's just so we're just like we get along so good and it was so easy and it just makes me sad because I miss him so freaking much. So I've been rolling through that this week, which is challenging. But at the same time, it is a peak because it's just like I love that it can be like just so good still. I love that. And yeah.
You went out there to go help him. He asked for help. You went out there and helped him. And I think that's really
Yeah.
a sign of how strong you guys can move forward together as friends at this stage.
At this stage, yeah. It definitely it has me I have to, really really remember why I chose to end the relationship because it's hard because right now I have a hard time. I'm all I can remember is all the things that I miss about him. And there's so many really great things and I can't deny that. But it's real. This is like real life stuff and it's hard and I would way rather have a few hard times and continue to live my life with Mark still in it. I know this too shall pass, but as I've said before, and I tell this to people, like this is real feelings that I'm feeling. I've never felt like this before because I've always used some kind of a substance. Like I've always when I would start to feel this kind of stuff, I would go get a bottle of wine or I mean, I haven't done drugs in many, many years, but if when I was heartbroken in Canmore, so this is the first time that I've ever actually just like let myself sit through all the feelings. And I'm here for it. I want to feel this. This is where I'm at. This is the journey I'm on. And I want to understand them and I want to understand what parts of me are being triggered in certain things and why, I just want to understand all that and I want to feel all those feelings. So I'm not rushing through any of this and I don't want to do anything impulsive, but I also want to follow where my heart, my soul and I want to just kind of roll with that. And so Yeah, it's kind of a it's it's interesting for sure. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm happy with where things are, and I mean, it was hard. I was crying when I was leaving the farm. It was very hard for me, but I am so thankful that, I still feel very comfortable out there, and I still feel very comfortable with Mark, and I hadn't seen him probably in, like, 6 weeks because I hadn't seen like, I'd be at the farm, but he wasn't around, so I didn't get the chance to see him the last day that I was there, so, yeah, I knew it could come with some challenges, but I was ready for it, so there's that. However, yes, as I said, like, it was a peak. Honestly, seeing Mark made me super happy and got to see all my farm pets, and we trimmed Charlie's, the dog's toenails, which is like a two-person job. And so, like, just that I am happy for all that. That makes my heart and soul happy. So, anyway, um I also another peak is that I had my women's group on Monday. Well, we went through an exercise talking about our truths, and it was a whole spontaneous thing. Like, you didn't get to sit there and think about it. It was just really on the spot. Christine prompted us with a few questions. She recorded it all. So I'm curious to hear back what came out of my mouth because it was very powerful. And before it happened, because I volunteered to go first. The reason I the reason I chose to go first is because I wanted to experience it without having being distracted and having the opportunity to think about what I was going to say while everybody else was doing theirs. I wanted it to be I just wanted it to be whatever came out of my head, mouth, and brain all when I was prompted, and I didn't think I would be able to totally and fully be present in what everybody else was saying if I didn't do it first, because I think inherently we would be thinking about, "Oh my god, what are we gonna say?" It was a hard experience, challenging. I had this instant oof of energy that went through me right when I said I and then once I spoke my truth and, um, it felt so yummy afterwards. That was, like, the word that came to my mouth. It just felt so good to just say it out loud, like, area of your life that you are struggling with and that you're not gonna like, my thing was that it's like, I will never abandon myself again, no matter what. And, anyways, I don't wanna speak too much on all that. That can be for another time, but it was very powerful. And afterwards, I felt this, like, rush of goodness, like, this wholeness, this, like, freeing, and yeah, it was cool. And then my plans for the week, my friend Kelly's coming out to get her hair done on Friday, so then we're gonna go for supper after, and then, honestly, I don't have a lot of plans, and it's gonna be a super long weekend. So I'm pumped because I don't work Mondays, and then Tuesday's Remembrance Day. So I'm going to be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'll be off work Friday at 5, and I don't go back to work till Wednesday at 10.
Oh,
Holy shit, that's going to be amazing. I'm at home. I have no plans to leave. I honestly was thinking I should make plans to go to Regina for brunch with this girlfriend. We're trying to connect together, and I just was like, I'm not going to do that this weekend. I'm gonna paint and I'm gonna bake bread because I'm trying to nail down a few recipes so that I can give some bread away for Christmas. And so I'm gonna bake bread and I'm gonna paint and I'm gonna like wear sweatpants. I'm gonna walk lots of kilometers and like life is so dreamy in that regard right now. It's just delightful. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. What about you, sister?
yeah, I for pets, I don't have any. It was
Oh,
it
good.
has been so quiet around here, and so there's, like, just really quiet living, and it's been beautiful. So, it was a really uneventful week and weekend for us because it's just, like I said, quiet living. We just adulted around the house, and I did some, just cooking and reading and watching TV.
You did a bike shop.
We watched the Blue Jays game at the bike shop, and that was fun. I made a giant pot of chili, and we went down there and watched the Blue Jay game, and it was really nice to be with the bike family.
Yeah.
So that was nice, but it's like it's really quiet living right now. Like, I just loving that. Like, I went over to my girlfriend's house on Friday night, and we just hung out during Halloween, and, like, yeah, it was just a really quiet weekend, and that's kind of where how we roll in after Thanksgiving and until mid-December out here in Invermere. The weather's changing. So the ski hill's not open and days are short. So
It's the shoulder season.
100%. So there's no guilt around me just hunkering down in my house. I love it. So for plans, I am just starting to tidy up the house from fall, take down the Thanksgiving decor, and get the house kind of tidied up and cleaned up for Christmas, because I'll only put up my Christmas decorations after Remembrance Day. We are not putting our tree up this year because we're going to Regina for Christmas, but I will put everything else up and make my house very, very cozy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Tuesday is Remembrance Day, and so we might head down to the Cenotaph if the weather's nice to pay respects to our veterans. And I signed up for Gabby Bernstein's 11/11 manifesting challenge on that day. So it's like I've done her manifesting challenge 3 times. And so I'm assuming that this is kind of like a mini one. But I signed up for it to carve out some time to really start getting my 2026 goals in order. So I think that's pretty much it for me. That's it. Yeah. Just get ready to have another quiet weekend. I love that.
Isn't it so glorious? The whole like slow living, quiet living. I love this season of life, just where things are slow. And I don't know, for the last 5 years, Stacey, I felt like everything was so fast that the slowness is just so, it just feels so fresh and new and welcomed. It's just delightful. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. If you love the episode, please subscribe to wherever you are streaming from. That really helps us out and helps to push our podcast out to more listeners. If you love it and you think somebody else would love the episode, share it with those people in your life that you think would enjoy an episode. That also helps us. If you want to find us, our Sister Social Call is on Instagram. Stacey's on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can find myself, Krista, on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And that's it.
Thank you, everybody. Love you, sissy.
Love you, sis.